We got married in Hebron, in 2002, during the height of the Second Intifada. And the reason we got married there is because we wanted to use the opportunity of our wedding. We have a lot of friends, and we wanted to actually do something that matters, something that makes a difference. We wanted to use that event that people were going to come out to as a springboard for something even bigger. And we wanted to get married with our parents. And when we say our parents, we don't just mean our physical parents, but also our grandparents, our forefathers, our matriarchs, our patriarchs, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, and Leah. And Rachel Imeinu is not at Marat HaMachpelah, is not in Hevron, not at the Cave of the Patriarchs, but she was with us on the way when we were driving down there. In any case, during the Second Intifada era, we decided to get married, and I called up the Hevron people after deciding that we want to get married in Hevron, which everybody told us not to do. Everybody told us not to do, except for one group of people. That one group of people was the rabbis. Every rabbi that I asked told me,
go for it.
Go for it. Absolutely. Even during the height of the Second Intifada. And I called up the Hevron people. I got a number of the caterer or the person who owned the concession kind of stand at the entrance of Marat HaMachpelah. There's a big building there called Gutnik. And he was kind of the head person there. Called him up. I said, hey, I want to get married in Marat HaMachpelah. He said, okay. I said, he said, do you have a date you're thinking of? I said, listen, obviously the best date on the Jewish calendar is Tu B'Av, the 15th of Av. Why? Because that's Jewish Valentine's Day. That's Jewish Love Day. So he said to me, okay. I said, what do you mean, okay? He's like, you got it. What do you mean you got it? Don't I have to fill out some paperwork? Isn't there a big line? That's the number one day in Israel to get married. There must be some procedura, some procedure that I have to go through in order to get this day. He goes, buddy, nobody wants to get married in Marat HaMachpelah now. There's absolutely nobody asking for that. You're the only guy. So I said, oh, okay. So am I written down? He's like, yeah, you're written in. That's it. All right. So the wedding started getting closer. We started planning it. Some people were very upset. Some people had all kinds of nightmares telling us that we were going to get blown up on the way to our wedding.
A few people had the same nightmare that we were going to die at our wedding, which was disconcerting.
Right. So
to say the least.
People in law school came up to me and said, I had a horrible dream last night. And this happened 3 times in a row in the span of 2-3 weeks. And when the third time it happened, I went to a Chabad rabbi at Cardozo Law School, and I said to him, Rabbi Levi Stolik, I said to him, Rabbi, people are having bad dreams about our wedding. He said to me, don't worry about it. It's nothing. It's good luck. Don't worry about a thing about that. Meaningless. Don't worry about it. So I said, okay, great. And we headed out to Israel. Malka went to a seminary to study before our wedding. I went to organize the wedding.
When I agreed to get married in Hebron, I'd actually never been there before.
Right.
And all I knew about it is that it's like numero uno in the newspaper for the place that you're not supposed to really go. But we decided to do this bold thing of getting married in Hebron. So I was like, okay. And we showed up in Hebron.
Now anybody who knows the Tomb of the Patriarchs, which is maybe one of the most special places in the world, it's the only 2,000-year-old building in the world that still serves what it served 2,000 years ago. It's still exactly in the same shape. It's an incredible place. The road leading down to Marat HaMachpelah may be one of the worst roads in the world, certainly one of the worst roads in Israel.
Probably in Tibet they have some roads along the sides of mountains.
It's a Tibetan, Syrian style type of road, whatever it is. And you're driving down there, the bus is taking you down there, and it just, it does not look like a marvelous place to get married. And when Malka was first heading down there, she actually started sobbing a little bit.
I wasn't sobbing. I think that is an exaggeration. I'm not a sobber.
Just concerned.
I was concerned. It was not what I had pictured.
Right.
I'm not such a high maintenance lady, but it was very dusty. And we later learned that what it really is very hidden. I mean, we do have this great palace, which is, Marat Machpelah, which is the Tomb of the Patriarchs building. And that is very grand, and it totally beats out Disney World as a place to get married at a palace.
Right.
But Hebron is the kind of place that you have to have eyes for. You have to know what it is that you're looking at in order to really appreciate it.
Yeah, it reveals itself to you. And we came down there. She was a little disconcerted, but my friend was with us, and he calmed her down, and she started seeing the beauty of it. In the end, what happened was that the wedding started taking place. We had 3 buses coming from Jerusalem and a myriad of other people driving in. We had people coming in from America, from Germany, from Australia. People from all over the world flew into this wedding, including a rabbi from Fair Lawn, New Jersey, named Rabbi Benjamin Yudin. And on the cell phone that he was talking to his wife, he told her, and this is a prominent rabbi, he told her, this is the height of my rabbinic career, that I had the chance to marry somebody in Hebron, marry a couple in Hebron. Now, a lot of people told me that you're going to get married in Hebron. How could you do that? How can you get married in Hebron? You're going to make the army work so much harder than they actually needed to. And they're going to be guarding extra, and there's going to be extra costs involved, and extra security.
Right, and keep in mind that this is a time in which people, were not traveling the roads there if they could avoid it. People were not coming to Hebron. There were major attacks going on. In fact, a month before our wedding, there were some family members who basically begged us not to have our wedding in Hebron because there was a major massacre of soldiers, an ambush of soldiers who were murdered by terrorists right in the valley next to Hebron. And we decided to continue on with our plan.
We got to the wedding.
I actually took a hitchhike to the wedding.
Yeah, she hitchhiked to the wedding. I took a public bus to my own wedding. It was let's call it a limo. It was a very stretched vehicle. And, on the way to Hebron, I really cried very, very much because I really felt, that we weren't just getting married, this couple here, but it's our nation returning back to our homeland and really to a place that we've been dispossessed from so long ago, a place that we've yearned to come back to all the time, a place that we have lost our rights, had lost our rights to pray in a normal fashion time and time again, including being relegated to just going to the 7th step of the Tomb of the Patriarchs under Ottoman rule. And so finally, we got a chance to get back to the land of Israel, get back to the essential land of Israel, which is Hebron, which is our ancestral lands. And so the wedding started, buses started pulling up, and all these people that were complaining that they can't believe that we're having a wedding in Hebron were suddenly there. And they were suddenly there, and they were suddenly so happy to be there. And the great irony about Hebron is that while it's a city of conflict, it's also a city of great peace. There's something about it that feels so peaceful, so home. You come home to your mom's kitchen. That's what it feels like.
Right, and there's also, frankly, something that's sort of energizing and exciting about sticking your finger in the eye of the fearmongers and saying, we're not going to be afraid. Right. This is our party spot. We're going to have our big party here. And we're not going to pay attention to all the people who would use fear, which is really another word for terror, right? Who would use fear to kick us out of this place, and we're not going to be kicked out.
Now, we believe in the Hasidic ideology that says that don't empower the negative forces in this world. Don't give them any credence. And so we went out there, and being a talker, being a person who likes to talk, I took the mic at my own wedding. And a lot of chatanim, a lot of grooms don't do this. Most don't do it. But I took the mic at my wedding, and I said, okay, I want everybody to repeat after me. I'm going to say this land, and you're going to say is our land. The whole wedding party. And I took the mic, and as loud as I could, I said, this land! And everybody said, is our land! And we did it 3 times until, I'm telling you, literally, it reverberated on the hills of Hebron. And people felt so empowered. They felt so empowered. They felt so good. We went inside. After the wedding took place inside the Tomb of the Patriarchs building itself, which was a rarity. We had to get all kinds of clearance just
Especially
to get
for the musical instruments.
Right, the musical instruments. We had to get clearance for it. Every trumpet had to be checked and X-rayed and all that kind of stuff. And finally, we had the wedding in the actual ceremony, the marital ceremony inside, and then we went to the Gutnick Hall, which is right across from the Tomb of the Patriarchs, to eat. We ate for 45 minutes. We went outside. I positioned the band outside in the courtyard of the Tomb of Patriarchs, outside in the open, and we danced for
with
3
camouflage.
hours. With camouflage. The band was actually behind.
It was a rough time. It was a rough time.
The band was actually behind the type of camouflaged army type.
That netting stuff that looks like leaves.
Okay, and we danced out there for 3 hours straight. And we came back in. We ate for 45 minutes, danced for 3 hours, came back in for the blessing after the food. That's
and then everyone got on the armored buses.
Right. And left midnight, at the stroke of midnight. 3 buses pulled out of Hebron with most of the guests. We said goodbye to everybody. And then Malka and I and a gentleman named Baruch Marzel walked the streets of Hebron. In Malka in her wedding dress, me in my 3-piece suit, walked the streets of Hebron in the middle of a full moon night. And we walked to the place, the little hotel that we stayed at there in Hebron, a little hostel. Well, I think it's an inn, okay? In any case, it was a night of magic, and it was a night of feeling that we are reborn in our land, and that it's a love affair. It's a love affair. It's a love affair between me and this lady, and it's a love affair between the Jewish people and their homeland.